Do this with the door open without the dogs disturbing me. That would be awesome. Okay. I don't need my phone for that. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing. Hey there, creepy peeps, and welcome to another Weird Wednesday video. Today I thought we would do another discussion-y type post, as the last one seemed to go so well, the one about mental illness in horror movies. Today's topic was inspired by, I don't know if I've actually said this on a video yet. If you follow me on social media, you will definitely know that I am a student. I'm currently getting my master's in film studies right now. So this is kind of where the topic today was inspired from. Obviously, I definitely have said this before on this. I also work and do this and in school. So obviously, I'm in school online because I don't have time to actually physically go to class. So each class that I do within my program is a month long, and it's just one class per month, and then you move on and on and on and on until you complete the master's degree. So at the end of every single class, there's a 10-page paper due that is supposed to be on a topic of your choosing, obviously approved by your professor, that relates in some way to things that were learned over the course of the month. So every single class I've tried to make my paper about horror movies where applicable. I've had one or two classes where the focus has been on a specific director. My first one was Akira Kurosawa, the second one was Orson Welles. Neither of them are really horror directors, so I couldn't really make the paper about horror movies then, but literally every other class I've had so far, I've made the paper at the end of the month related to horror movies in some way. Because one, it's easy for me to write about it because I love horror movies, and I think horror movies are a legitimate genre to be studied. So you guys have heard me say this many, many times before. I love learning about the history of horror in relation to the climate of the culture at the time that they were made. Like, if you just look at US horror movies alone, horror movies from the 50s are vastly different from the horror movies of the 70s, and there's many historical, social, and cultural, political reasons why that is, and I find that fascinating. So that's why I try to make my papers about horror movies, because I find that idea fascinating. The class that I'm in currently, this was before I started the class that I'm in currently, I saw the title of the class, which was Film History with a focus on American film. So I'm like, one, awesome. I feel like my horror history knowledge is already gonna come in handy here, because I kind of have at least a general idea each decade about what was going on in the US at the time, and you know, how that could affect filmmaking and things like that. Two, maybe there will be a horror movie thrown in there, because to this date, I have not had a single horror movie to study in my entire film studies course so far. That being said, I'm not even really halfway through. Maybe I am about halfway through. I think after this class, I'll be like halfway through. I've yet to have a horror movie even to study. I'm pretty sure my film genre class that's coming up in a couple months is going to be a horror movie class, because it's a professor I've had before, and he told me that he teaches a horror movie class. So I'm really hoping that that's what that is. I'm sure you guys will hear all about it on social media if that's what that is, because I'm going to be really fucking stoked. But up until now, there hasn't even been a single horror movie to study. Like my film theory class, the movies were all varied in genre and decade and everything like that. No horror movie there. So I'm thinking American film history. We have to at least have one horror movie. Nothing. Nothing. So I don't know if maybe it's just me, like I've found this awesome horror community online, and there's so many people out there that love horror. I guess maybe that like put my blinders up to maybe horror isn't as legit a genre as I thought it was. I was thinking like, oh man, so many people love horror. There's all these texts and studies on horror movies, which I'm slowly on my way to buying them all. I have a very hefty collection of of scholarly type books on horror movies in my room. So maybe I was wrong. I thought maybe horror movies were like starting to be taken a little more seriously, but I guess not. So I guess the topic that I want you guys to discuss in the comments section down below is your thoughts on the legitimacy of horror. One, if you think it's a legitimate genre to study and discuss, which I don't want to speak for everyone, but I feel like most of you will probably agree with that statement. But mostly I want to know why you guys think that it's still not taken as seriously. Or maybe is that just, do I just have a wrong, maybe is my understanding of the situation just wrong? You can just let me know that as well too. I would love to be set on the right path here. So yeah, so hopefully this goes as well as the last discussion-y video, and you guys like this idea of like horror movie discussions. I hope so. If you don't, just let me know in the comment section down below and I will stop it at this video. So until next time, stay strange. Bye!